The morning sun rose over a New Bizon colony, painting the sky in soft shades of orange and pink. Captain Park Deho stood on the balcony of the security building and watched the farmers walk to their fields. He could smell fresh bread from the bakery down the street. Children ran past him on their way to school, their laughter filling the air. This was home now. 12,000 humans lived here on Kepler 442b, far from Earth but carrying its spirit with them. They had built something good on this distant world. Schools, hospitals, farms, and families. Park had served 20 years in Earth's Navy before taking this post. He thought he would miss the excitement of space. He did not. Watching these people live in peace gave him more satisfaction than any battle ever had. His communicator beeped. It was Dr. Kim Yuna from the medical center. "Good morning, Captain. The supply ship from Earth arrives tomorrow. I need security escort for the medical equipment." "I will arrange it personally," Park said. "Anything else?" "Yes. My daughter says you promised to visit her class today. She has been telling everyone that the captain is coming." Park smiled. He had almost forgotten. "Tell her I will be there after lunch." He ended the call and looked out at the colony again. The school building sat in the center of town, surrounded by a small park with trees imported from Earth. He could see children playing outside before classes began. Their teacher, Lihana, stood among them, organizing some kind of game. Park had known Hana since she arrived on the colony 3 years ago. She was young but dedicated. The children loved her. She treated every student like her own child, staying late to help those who struggled, celebrating every small victory. Parents trusted her completely. One boy caught Park's attention. Choi. Minho, 9 years old, was climbing a tree while his friends cheered him on. The boy had endless energy and curiosity. He asked questions about everything. Last week he had asked Park if aliens ever visited the colony. Park had told him yes sometimes, and the boy's eyes had grown wide with wonder. The colony existed. Under the protection of the Galactic Trade Confederacy, an alliance of 47 species spread across hundreds of worlds. Humanity had joined the Confederacy 60 years ago after first contact. The alliance promised peace and trade between species. In exchange, members followed Confederacy law and paid standard taxes to support shared services. Most alien species were friendly or at least neutral toward humans. Some found humans strange. Humans lived short lives but accomplished much in those years. They formed deep emotional bonds. They created art and music that confused some species but moved others to tears. And they had children frequently, raising them with fierce dedication. Not all species respected humans, though. Park knew this well. His communicator beeped again. This time it was his deputy. "Captain, a ship just entered orbit. Velthary military vessel. They are requesting permission to land." Park felt his stomach tighten. The Velthary were a proud warrior species. They had conquered dozens of worlds before joining the Confederacy. They followed a strict honor code, at least among themselves. Toward other species, they often showed arrogance or contempt. Park had dealt with them before during his Navy years. They respected only strength. "Grant them landing permission at the main port. I will meet them there." He took his sidearm from the desk and headed out. The Velthary ship was large and angular, built for war rather than beauty. Its hull was dark gray with red markings indicating high military rank. Park arrived at the landing pad with 6 of his officers. He wanted to show strength without appearing hostile. The ship's ramp lowered, and 5 Velthary warriors walked out. They stood taller than humans, with thick scaled skin and 4 arms. Their leader wore ceremonial armor decorated with medals and symbols. Park recognized the rank insignia. This was a High Commander, one of the highest military positions in the Velthary Empire. "I am High Commander Threx," the leader announced. His voice was deep and rough. "I speak with the authority of Emperor Koth himself." Park stepped forward. "I am Captain Park Deho, security chief of this colony. Welcome to New Bizon. How can we help you?" Threx looked around at the buildings, the people, the farms in the distance. His expression showed something like disgust. "Your colony sits on a world within Velthary ancestral territory. Our empire claimed this region long before your species left your birth planet." Park kept his voice calm. This world was unoccupied when human settlers arrived. The Galactic Confederacy approved our colonization. All proper procedures were followed. Confederacy approval means nothing, Threx said. The Velthari Empire demands respect for our historical claims. Your colony will pay tribute taxes to the Empire. 20% of all production, delivered annually. Park's officers shifted behind him. He heard one of them whisper a curse. High Commander, Park said carefully, the Confederacy Charter does not allow member species to impose unilateral taxes on each other's colonies. If you have a territorial claim, you must present it to the Confederacy Council. Threx stepped closer. He was half a meter taller than Park. I did not come here to discuss Confederacy bureaucracy. I came to inform you of your obligation. The tribute is not a request. Park met his gaze without flinching. And I must inform you that this colony operates under Confederacy law. We pay our Confederacy taxes. We will not pay tribute to any single species, no matter how powerful. That is not how the Alliance works. Silence fell over the landing pad. Threx's warriors gripped their weapons. Park's hand moved slightly closer to his sidearm. Then Threx made a sound that might have been a laugh. You humans are strange creatures, so small, so fragile. Yet you speak to me as if we are equals. He turned and walked back toward his ship. At the ramp, he stopped and looked back. You will learn respect for the Velthari, one way or another. The ship departed without another word. Park watched it rise into the sky until it vanished. His deputy approached him. Captain, should we report this to Earth? Yes, Park said. Full report, everything that was said. Send it to Fleet Command and the Confederacy representative. Do you think they will come back? Park thought about the children at the school. He thought about Minho climbing that tree. He thought about Hannah organizing her games. I do not know, he said. But we will be ready if they do. That night, Park stood on his balcony again and watched the colony lights flicker on as darkness fell. Families sat down to dinner. Children did homework. Life continued as normal. These people trusted him to keep them safe. He would not fail them. 3 days passed without incident. Captain Park doubled the security patrols and added 2 officers to the school grounds, but he did not want to alarm the colonists. Life continued as normal. Children went to school. Farmers worked their fields. Families lived their lives. Officer Beek Jasu walked along the fence that surrounded the school compound. She was 26 years old and had joined the colony security force 2 years ago. She liked this assignment. The children always waved at her and asked her questions about her uniform. Some of them wanted to be security officers when they grew up. The morning was quiet. Classes had started an hour ago. She could hear Teacher Lihana's voice through an open window, reading a story to her students. Jasu smiled. She had attended Hana's class once for a safety presentation. The teacher had a gift for holding children's attention. Jasu's partner, Officer Kwan, walked toward her from the other side of the building. Anything? He asked. Nothing. Quiet morning. They stood together for a moment, watching the empty playground. Then the sky changed. A dark shape descended through the clouds, moving fast. Jasu recognized the angular design immediately. Velthari. The ship was not as large as the one that had visited before, but it was clearly military. Weapons were visible on its hull. Alert Captain Park, Jasu said. Now. Kwan grabbed his communicator, but before he could speak, the ship fired. A blast struck the communications tower on top of the security building across town. The tower exploded in flames. The ship landed in the park next to the school. Its ramp dropped, and Velthari warriors poured out. Jasu counted 30 of them, all armed with pulse rifles and bladed weapons. Get the children out, she told Kwan. Back entrance, go. Kwan ran toward the school. Jasu drew her sidearm and moved to intercept the warriors. She knew she could not stop 30 of them, but she could slow them down. She could give the children time. The lead warrior saw her and raised his rifle. Jasu fired first. Her shot hit his armor but did not penetrate. He fired back. The pulse blast struck her shoulder and spun her around. Pain exploded through her body. She fell to the ground, through blurred vision. She saw the warriors run past her toward the school. Inside the building, Teacher Hannah heard the explosion and the weapons fire. Her students looked up from their desks with frightened eyes. Moon Era, an 8-year-old girl in the front row, started to cry. "Everyone stay calm," Hannah said. Her voice was steady, even though her heart was racing. "We practiced this, remember? We go to the safe room." She led the children toward the back of the classroom, where a reinforced door led to an interior room with no windows. The school had built it for emergencies. Hannah had always hoped they would never need it. They were halfway there when the classroom door burst open. A Velthari warrior stood in the doorway. He was enormous, his scaled skin dark green, his forearms holding weapons. Behind him, Hannah could see more warriors in the hallway. "Stay back," she said. She stepped in front of her students and spread her arms wide. "These are children. They have done nothing to you." The warrior looked at her, then at the children cowering behind her. He made a sound like a growl. "We are here to collect collateral," he said. "Your colony refused to pay tribute. These small ones will ensure payment." "No," Hannah's voice was firm. "You will not take them." The warrior struck her with one of his arms. The blow lifted her off her feet and threw her against the wall. She hit hard and fell to the floor. The children screamed. Era ran to her teacher. "Miss Hannah! Miss Hannah!" The warrior grabbed Ara by the arm and pulled her away. The little girl cried out in pain. "Stop!" Choi Minho shouted. He ran at the warrior and kicked him in the leg. The warrior looked down at the boy with something like amusement. Then he backhanded Minho across the face. The boy flew backward and crashed into a desk. He did not get up. More warriors entered the room. They moved through the children, grabbing some and pushing others aside. Principal Oh-Sung-ho appeared in the doorway and tried to stop them. A warrior shot him with a pulse blast at close range. He collapsed. Nurse Han Yoon-ji ran from the medical office when she heard the screaming. She found chaos. Children were running through the hallways. Warriors were everywhere. She saw a small boy lying on the floor with blood on his face. She rushed to help him. A warrior blocked her path. "Please," she begged. "Let me help the injured, please." The warrior considered her for a moment, then stepped aside. Perhaps even Velthari had some limits. Or perhaps he simply did not care about one human nurse. Oji knelt beside the boy. It was Minho. He was breathing but unconscious. His cheekbone was broken. She checked his pulse, then looked around for other injured children. There were many outside. Officer Jisoo managed to reach her communicator with her good arm. Her shoulder was destroyed. She could barely see through the pain. But she pressed the emergency button that sent an automatic distress signal to Earth Fleet Command. Whatever happened next, someone would know. The warriors emerged from the school with 15 children. They carried them roughly, ignoring their cries. One warrior held Era by her hair. Another had Minho over his shoulder. A warrior commander walked among them. He looked at Jisoo lying on the ground and smiled. "You humans breed like vermin," he said. "You will not miss a few." He laughed and walked toward the ship. Jisoo tried to raise her weapon, but her arm would not move. She could only watch as they loaded the children into the ship. Then they were gone. Dr. Kim. Yuna arrived at the school 20 minutes later. She had been at the medical center when the communications tower was destroyed. It took time for runners to reach her with the news. She came as fast as she could. What she found broke her heart. Children sat on the ground crying. Some were injured. Some were in shock. Teachers tried to comfort them while nurses moved among them providing first aid. The school building had blast marks on its walls. Windows were shattered. Desks were overturned. Yuna found Officer Jisoo first. The young woman had lost a lot of blood. "They took the children," Jisoo whispered. 15 of them. I tried to stop them." "You did everything you could?" Yuna said. She called for a stretcher and began treating the wound. Inside the school, she found Hana unconscious against a wall. Her arm was broken and she had a severe concussion. Nearby, Principal O was barely alive with internal injuries from the pulse blast. The worst was the children. Broken bones? Burns from stun weapons set too high. Trauma that would last for years. One little girl kept asking for her mother. Another boy could not stop shaking. Captain Park arrived and stood in the middle of the destruction. His face showed no expression, but his hands were trembling. "How many taken?" he asked. 15, Nurse Yungi told him. "Including Minho and Ara." Park nodded slowly. He looked at the children, at the injured teachers, at his wounded officer. Then he looked up at the sky where the Valkyrie ship had vanished. "Get me a direct line to Earth," he said. "Fleet Command?" "Admiral Shin, tell them what happened here. Every detail. Every injury. Every child taken." His deputy hesitated. "The communications tower is destroyed?" "Then use the backup. Use anything. The signal gets through today." He walked through the school, looking at each injured person, remembering each face. These were his people. He had promised to protect them. He had failed, but what came next would not be his failure alone. What came next would be humanity's answer. And the Valkyrie had no idea what they had just awakened. The message reached Earth in 4 hours. It traveled through relay stations across dozens of light years, encrypted with the highest security codes. When it arrived at Fleet Command headquarters in Seoul, it went directly to Admiral Shin Tae-woo. He was in a meeting when his aide interrupted. The aide's face was pale. "Sir, you need to see this immediately." Shin excused himself and went to the secure communications room. He read the report from New Bizan Colony. He watched the security footage that Officer Jisu's camera had recorded. He saw the Valkyrie warriors attack the school. He saw them strike children. He saw them drag 15 young ones onto their ship while they cried for help. Shin was 62 years old. He had commanded fleets in 3 different conflicts. He had seen death and destruction. He thought nothing could shock him anymore. He was wrong. His hands gripped the edge of the console until his knuckles turned white. He read the list of injured. Broken bones. Internal injuries. Children in critical condition. He read the list of taken. Names and ages. The youngest was 7 years old. He picked up the direct line to Earth's united government. "This is Admiral Shin. I need an emergency session of the Defense Council. Now. Within 2 hours." The leaders of humanity's government assembled. They saw the same footage. They read the same reports. When the presentation ended, there was silence. Then the president spoke. "What do you need, Admiral?" "Full authorization for military response, unrestricted." "You have it?" No debate. No hesitation. The vote was unanimous. Shin returned to Fleet Command and began issuing orders. The 7th Fleet would mobilize immediately. 200 warships. 50,000 Marines. Every vessel would be combat-ready within 48 hours. General Kang Dong-wook would lead the ground forces and special operations, but first, they needed information. "Get me Ambassador Yoon," Shin ordered. Ambassador Yoon Mae was humanity's representative to the Galactic Confederacy. She worked at the Confederacy capital on a station called Unity Point, where all member species had embassies. She received Shin's message and immediately requested an emergency session of the Confederacy Council. The council chamber was enormous, built to hold representatives from 47 species. Each delegation had its own section with seating designed for their body types. Screens displayed translations in hundreds of languages. The room fell silent when Ambassador Yoon walked to the central platform. She was a small woman, barely 1.5 meters tall, but her voice carried to every corner of the chamber. 3 days ago, warriors of the Valkyrie Empire attacked a human colony called New Bizan. They targeted a school full of children. They injured dozens of young ones, some critically. They took 15 children as hostages. She paused. The youngest is 7 years old. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Some species looked shocked. Others looked uncomfortable. A few seemed indifferent. Yoon activated a display showing the security footage. The delegates watched Valkyrie warriors strike children. They watched teachers try to protect their students and get beaten down. They watched children being carried away screaming. "This attack was not provoked," Yoon continued. The Velthari demanded illegal tribute payments that violate Confederacy law. When our colony refused, they took our children as collateral. They called us vermin. They said we would not miss a few of our young. The Velthari delegation shifted in their seats but said nothing. Speaker Oles, the leader of the council, leaned forward. He was an elderly member of a species called the Ovari, known for their neutrality and wisdom. This is a serious accusation, Ambassador. What response does humanity seek? We seek justice, Yoon said. We seek the immediate return of our children. We seek punishment for those who ordered and carried out this attack. And we seek a clear statement from this council that targeting children is unacceptable under any circumstances. The Velthari ambassador stood. He was tall even for his species, with ceremonial scars on his face. The Velthari Empire does not answer to this council for internal security matters. The humans refused lawful tribute. We took appropriate action to ensure compliance. Lawful? Yoon's voice was sharp. Show me the Confederacy law that allows you to take children hostage. Show me the charter that permits attacking schools. You cannot, because no such law exists. Velthari honor, do not speak to me of honor. Yoon stepped toward him. There is no honor in hurting children. There is no honor in attacking the defenseless. Every species in this chamber knows this. Even yours. The Velthari ambassador's scales darkened with anger, but he did not respond. Speaker Oles raised a hand for silence. This matter clearly requires investigation and deliberation. I propose we form a committee to know. Yoon turned to face him. We will not wait for committees. We will not wait for deliberation. Our children are in danger now. Humanity will act now. Ambassador, I understand your distress, but we must follow proper procedures. Your procedures did not protect our children. Your procedures did not stop this attack. We followed every rule. We did everything correctly. And our children were still taken. She looked around the chamber at every delegation. Humanity has always been a good member of this confederacy. We have followed your laws. We have paid our taxes. We have traded fairly. We have never started a war with any species. But we will not sacrifice our children for your procedures. She turned back to Speaker Oles. Humanity is informing this council as a courtesy that we are mobilizing our military forces. We will recover our children. We will bring those responsible to justice. Any species that interferes will be considered hostile. Any species that assists will have our eternal gratitude. She walked out of the chamber without waiting for a response. On Earth, the news spread within hours. Every colony, every station, every ship received the report from New Bison. Footage of the attack played on every screen. The names and faces of the taken children appeared everywhere. The reaction was unlike anything seen before. Protests erupted in every major city. Not angry riots, but solemn gatherings. Millions of people stood in silence holding images of the children. Volunteers flooded military recruitment centers. Some were former soldiers who had retired years ago. Some were young people who had never considered military service. All of them said the same thing: I want to help bring them home. Factories that produced civilian goods switched to military production. Workers volunteered for extra shifts. Scientists offered their expertise. Ships that were scheduled for trade missions were donated for military use. General Kong Dongwook assembled his special operations team personally. He reviewed hundreds of files and selected the very best. Lieutenant No Seung-woo would lead the rescue team. Sergeant Mboyang, the finest combat medic in the service, would ensure the children received immediate care upon rescue. Admiral Shin addressed his fleet through a system-wide broadcast. 200 ships, 50,000 personnel, all of them watching their screens. You have seen what the Velthari did, he said. You have seen the footage. You know why we are here. Some of you have children of your own. Some of you were those children not long ago. All of you understand what those young ones are feeling right now. Scared, alone, wondering if anyone is coming for them. He paused. We are coming for them. Every ship in this fleet. Every Marine. Every pilot, every officer. We are coming, and we will not stop until they are safe. The Valkyrie believe they can hurt our children without consequence. They believe we are soft because we prefer peace. They are about to learn how wrong they are. He straightened. The Valkyrie wanted to teach humanity a lesson about respect. Instead, we will teach the entire galaxy a lesson they will never forget. You do not touch human children, ever. All ships prepare for departure. We leave in 6 hours. The fleet launched on schedule. 200 warships moving as one, the largest human military operation in history. Other species watched from their stations and ships. They had seen humans before. They had traded with them, talked with them, worked with them. They thought they understood them. Now they realized they had only seen one side of humanity. The peaceful side. The friendly side. They were about to see the other side, and they would remember it. Forever, the Valkyrie border was defended by 100 warships. They were large vessels with heavy armor and powerful weapons. The Valkyrie had used them to conquer many worlds. Their commanders believed no enemy would dare challenge such a force. Then the human fleet arrived. 200 ships dropped out of faster than light. Travel in perfect formation. They spread across space in a pattern designed for maximum coverage and mutual support. Admiral Shin stood on the bridge of his flagship and studied the Valkyrie positions on his tactical display. They are moving to intercept. His tactical officer reported, "Let them come." The Valkyrie fleet advanced with confidence. Their ships were larger than the human vessels. Their weapons had longer range. They had won every major battle in their history. They had never fought humans before. Admiral Shin gave his orders calmly. All ships execute Pattern 7. Disable. Do not destroy. We are here for the children, not for slaughter. The human fleet moved like a single organism. Ships broke into smaller groups that flowed around the Valkyrie formations. They did not attack the heavily armored fronts of the enemy vessels. Instead, they targeted engines, weapon systems, and communications arrays. Precise shots that crippled without killing. The Valkyrie tried to respond, but the humans were too fast. Every time they turned to face one group, another struck them from behind. Their formations broke apart. Ships drifted dead in space with disabled systems but intact life support. In 30 minutes, the Valkyrie border fleet was neutralized. Not a single ship destroyed. Not a single crew killed. But none of them could fight or pursue. Admiral Shin opened a channel to the disabled Valkyrie flagship. "This is Admiral Shin of the Earth Fleet. Your ships are disabled, but your crews are alive. We have no quarrel with ordinary Valkyrie soldiers. Our quarrel is with those who took our children. Do not interfere, and no more harm will come to you." He closed the channel and turned to his navigation officer. "Set course for Velthor Prime, maximum speed. On the Valkyrie homeworld." High Commander Threx received the news with disbelief. The border fleet defeated in 30 minutes? Impossible. The Valkyrie were the greatest warriors in the galaxy. These humans were farmers and traders. They should have fled at the first sign of resistance. He went to the holding facility where the human children were kept. They were in a large cell with basic provisions. Some of them huddled together in small groups. Some sat alone and stared at nothing. The youngest ones had cried until they had no tears left. Minho sat against the wall with his arm around Era. His face was bruised and swollen where the warrior had struck him. Era had not spoken since they took her. She just held on to Minho and trembled. "It will be okay," Minho told her. "Someone will come for us. They will not leave us here." He was not sure he believed it, but Era needed to hear it. Threx looked at them through the cell barrier. These small creatures had caused so much trouble. He still did not understand why humans cared so much about their young. Valkyrie children were raised in military camps from an early age. They learned to fight and survive. Weakness was eliminated. Only the strong mattered. Humans were different. They protected their weak. They valued their young above all else. Threx had thought this was a flaw he could exploit. Now he was not so certain. His communicator signaled. It was the Emperor's palace. "High Commander." The Emperor demands your presence immediately. Threx went to the palace and found Emperor Koth in the throne room. The Emperor was old but still powerful. He had ruled for 60 years and conquered dozens of worlds. His scales were dark red, almost black, the color of royalty. "You told me the humans would submit," Koth said. His voice was like grinding stone. "They should have. They are a weak species. They have never fought a major war. And yet they destroyed our border fleet in less than an hour. They did not destroy it. They disabled it. They are afraid to truly fight us. Or they are showing restraint." Koth leaned forward. "I have ruled for 60 years. I know the difference between weakness and control. These humans could have killed our crews. They chose not to. That is not weakness. That is a message." Threx said nothing. "What do they want?" Koth asked. "The children. They want the children returned. Then perhaps we should negotiate. Use the children to extract concessions, territory, resources, technology." Threx nodded. This was a good plan. The humans clearly valued their young. They would pay any price to get them back. He did not realize that humans would not negotiate when their children were in danger. They would not bargain. They would not make deals. They would simply come and take them back. Lieutenant No Sungwoo led his team through the atmosphere of Velthor, Prime in a stealth shuttle. They had launched from the fleet while it engaged the enemy ships. Now they approached the capital city from the dark side of the planet, flying low to avoid detection. His team was the best. 20 operators trained for exactly this kind of mission. Sergeant Mboyang sat beside him, her medical kit ready. She had treated wounded soldiers in a dozen conflicts. Now she would treat children. 2 minutes to landing zone, the pilot announced. Sungwoo checked his weapon one more time. He thought about the children waiting in that facility, scared, hurt, hoping someone would save them. "Listen up," he said to his team. "Our mission is the children. We get them out safe. That is the only thing that matters. Weapons free on any Velthori who threatens them. But we are not here for revenge. We are here for rescue. Understood?" "Understood," they answered together. The shuttle landed on a rooftop near the holding facility. The team moved fast and quiet through the streets. The Velthori capital was in chaos. Alarms were sounding. Military vehicles rushed toward the spaceport. No one was looking for a small team of humans on the ground. They reached the facility and breached the outer wall. Guards inside responded quickly, but not quickly enough. The human operators moved through the building like shadows. Every shot precise. Every movement coordinated. Velthori guards fell before they could even raise their weapons. Sungwoo reached the cell block first. He saw the children through the barrier. They looked up at him with wide eyes. "We are here to take you home," he said. "Everyone stay together." Boyang moved past him and knelt beside the children. She checked them quickly for injuries. Minho watched her with cautious hope. "Are you really from Earth?" he asked. "Yes." She smiled at him. "And we are going to get you out of here. Can you walk?" "Yes, but Era ... He looked at the little girl still clinging to him. "She has not talked since they took us." Boyang examined Era gently. The girl was in shock. She would need treatment, but she could be moved. "I will carry her," Boyang said. "You stay close to me. Can you do that?" Minho nodded. The team began moving the children toward the extraction point. Sungwoo took the lead. They were almost out of the building when Threx appeared with a squad of elite guards. "Stop!" Threx shouted. He grabbed one of the children, a small boy, and held a blade to his throat. "You will surrender or this one dies." Sungwoo did not hesitate. His shot took Threx in the arm that held the blade. The weapon fell. The child ran to the other humans. Before Threx could react, 2 operators had him on the ground with weapons at his head. Sungwoo stood over him. "You asked if we would miss a few of our children. Let me answer that question. We would burn this planet to ash before we let you keep even one of them. Every human in the galaxy would come for them. Every ship. Every soldier, every parent, he leaned closer. You made the worst mistake of your life when you touched them, and now you will answer for it. They secured Threx and continued to the extraction point. The shuttle was waiting. The children were loaded carefully. Boyan stayed with them, treating injuries and offering comfort. As the shuttle lifted off, Minho looked out the window at the Velthari city below. Then he looked at the soldiers who had come for them. I knew someone would come, he said. Sungwoo nodded. We will always come. The shuttle reached the fleet without incident. The children were transferred to the medical ship. Doctors and nurses were waiting for them. So were counselors trained to help with trauma. Admiral Shin received the report on his bridge. All 15 children recovered. Injuries are serious but not life-threatening. High Commander Threx is in custody. The bridge crew cheered. Shin allowed himself a small smile, but the mission was not over yet. Set course for Velthar Prime orbit. We have one more thing to do. He was going to deliver a message that the entire galaxy would hear, and no one would ever forget it. The Galactic Confederacy Council chamber had never been so full. Representatives from all 47 member species were present. Observers from non-member worlds filled the gallery. News drones recorded everything for broadcast across the galaxy. The human fleet remained in orbit around Velthar Prime. They had not fired on the planet. They had not demanded surrender. They simply waited, their presence a silent statement of power and restraint. Emperor Koth and High Commander Threx stood in the center of the chamber. They were not in chains, but armed human guards stood beside them. This was not imprisonment. It was presentation. Ambassador Yunmai walked to the central platform. She looked small compared to the aliens around her, but every eye in the chamber was on her. 12 days ago, I stood in this chamber and told you that Velthari warriors attacked a human colony and took 15 children hostage. I asked this council for justice. I was told to wait for procedures. I was told to follow proper channels. She paused and looked around at the delegations. Humanity did not wait. We came for our children. We defeated the Velthari border fleet without killing a single crew member. We rescued our children from the heart of the Velthari homeworld. And we brought those responsible here to face judgment. She gestured toward Koth and Threx. Emperor Koth approved the attack on our colony. High Commander Threx led the warriors who hurt our children. They are here to answer for what they did. The Velthari ambassador rose to speak, but Yoon raised her hand. I am not finished. Her voice was firm. Before this council decides what to do with them, I want everyone here to understand something. Humanity did not do this for revenge. We did not do this to prove our strength. We did this because our children were in danger. She stepped closer to the center of the chamber. Every species here has young ones. Every species here would protect them. We know this. We are not different from you in this way. We simply want every species to understand the consequences of threatening ours. She turned to face the assembly directly. Humanity is not a warlike species. We prefer peace. We prefer trade and friendship. We have been good members of this confederacy. But we will protect our children with everything we have. Not some of them. All of them. Not sometimes, always. Any species that harms human children will face the full response of human civilization. This is not a threat. It is simply who we are. She nodded to Speaker Olis. Now this council can decide what justice requires. The deliberation lasted 3 hours. Species that had been neutral before now spoke against the Velthari action. Species that had been allies of the Velthari remained silent. The evidence was clear. The footage was undeniable. The children had testified through recorded statements about what had been done to them. In the end, the vote was unanimous. Emperor Koth was removed from power and sentenced to imprisonment for ordering an attack on civilians. High Commander Threx and his warriors were convicted of war crimes against children. The Velthari Empire was required to pay full reparations to the colony and to every family affected. More importantly, the Council passed a new resolution. Attacks on children of any member species would be considered the highest crime against the Confederacy. The punishment would be severe and immediate. Speaker Oles made the announcement to the chamber. This council condemns the Velthri attack on human children in the strongest possible terms. We affirm that the protection of the young is a sacred duty shared by all civilized species. And we acknowledge the restraint shown by humanity in their response. They had the power to destroy. They chose to rescue and seek justice. This is the behavior of a species worthy of respect. After the session ended, Speaker Oles approached Ambassador Yoon privately. "You have changed things today," he said. "Every species in the Confederacy will remember this." "That was the intention. May I ask you something?" "Off the record," Yoon nodded. "Your fleet could have destroyed the Velthri. Your soldiers could have killed every guard in that facility. But you showed restraint at every step. Why?" Yoon thought for a moment. "Because restraint is strength. Because we wanted justice, not massacre. And because we want to live in a galaxy where we are respected, not feared." She paused. "But also because we wanted every species to understand something. We held back by choice. If anyone threatens our children again, we might choose differently." Oles nodded slowly. "A valuable lesson. For everyone." 6 months later, the colony of New Bizan had returned to normal. The school was repaired. The communications tower was rebuilt. Farmers worked their fields. Families lived their lives, but things were not exactly the same as before. The security force had been expanded. Patrols were constant. A small military garrison now protected the colony. Most importantly, everyone understood that if anything happened here, the response would be swift and overwhelming. Captain Park Dae-ho stood outside the school and watched the children play during their break. Teacher Lee Hana was with them, her arm still in a light brace but healing well. She had returned to work as soon as the doctors allowed. She said the children needed her. They needed to know their teacher had not abandoned them. Minho was playing with his friends again. His face had healed, though a small scar remained on his cheekbone. The doctor said it would fade with time. Park thought the boy wore it with a strange kind of pride, like a mark of survival. Era was doing better. She had started talking again a few weeks after the rescue. She still had nightmares sometimes, but she was laughing again. Playing again. Being a child again. Dr. Kim Yuna walked up to Park and stood beside him. "The counselors say the children are recovering well. They are resilient." "They are," Park agreed. "Children often are. The adults too." Officer Jisoo returned to duty last week. Park nodded. Jisoo had lost most of the use of her shoulder, but she refused to retire. She said she wanted to stay and protect the colony. He had assigned her to the school permanently. The children loved her. A diplomatic shuttle landed at the main port. Park watched as several aliens disembarked, representatives from different Confederacy species. They had been coming regularly since the incident. Delegations wanting to meet with the colony to express support, to strengthen ties with humanity. Speaker Oles himself stepped off the shuttle. Park walked to meet him. They had spoken several times over the past months. The speaker had taken a personal interest in the colony's recovery. "Captain Park, it is good to see New Bizan thriving." "Thank you for coming, Speaker." "The colony is honored." They walked together toward the town center. Colonists waved at them. Some aliens in the speaker's group looked surprised at the friendly reception. "I have been thinking about what happened here," Oles said. "About what it means for the Confederacy." "And what have you concluded?" "That we did not understand humans as well as we thought. We knew you were peaceful. We knew you were good traders and builders. We did not know what you would do when your children were threatened." Park looked at him. "And now you know." "Yes, now we know." Oles paused. "Every species in the Confederacy has updated their diplomatic protocols. There's a new unofficial rule now. It is not written anywhere, but everyone knows it." "What rule is that?" "Never target human children." Park nodded slowly. "A good rule." They reached the school. The children were back in class now. Through the window, Park could see Hana teaching a lesson. The children were focused and happy. Learning about science or history or art, Being kids, Oli watched them for a long moment. Captain, may I ask you something? I asked your ambassador once, but I would like to hear your answer. Of course. What drives humans to respond so fiercely when your children are threatened? Many species love their young, but your response was ... remarkable. Park considered the question. He watched Minho raise his hand to answer a question. He watched Era draw something in her notebook. He thought about his own daughter in that classroom. Every species loves their children, he said. We simply make sure the entire galaxy knows the cost of forgetting that. Olis nodded. A clear message. Yes, we wanted it to be. The school bell rang. Children poured out into the playground, laughing and shouting. Minho ran toward the climbing tree. Era followed close behind. Hannah watched them with a smile. Park stood with the speaker and the other alien visitors. They watched the children play in the afternoon sun. Human and alien together, seeing the same thing, peace, safety, joy. This was what the colony had built. This was what they had almost lost. This was what they had fought to protect. And now the entire galaxy understood that humanity would never stop protecting it. No matter the cost. No matter the enemy. No matter what. The children played on, unaware of the history that had been made in their name. Unaware of the message that had been sent across the stars. Unaware that they were the reason an entire species had gone to war and shown mercy and demanded justice. They just knew they were home. They just knew they were safe, and that was enough.